There's a new Street Fighter on your windowsill. The weapon is peace, the word is chill.
Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Because, guys, it's some good news coming your way. The only news you care about. Action figure news, and it's coming up right now. First of all, before we get to the action figure news, I just want to say I watched AEW Rampage this morning, and oh my goodness, the return of CM Punk to professional wrestling for the first time since 2005. Oh my goodness, this was an incredible moment. Real, genuine emotion in pro wrestling. AEW, thank you for giving us that. Something that we have not seen in the WWE since, gosh, ever. I can't remember the last time there was genuine emotion. It was an amazing moment to see Punk come out there and the crowd just literally burst into tears and a deafening ovation, and the look on the most cynical human being's face in the world, which I think is a title CM Punk would proudly hold. The fact that he was almost in tears is like, wow, this is actually an amazing moment to watch and witness. What a time to be alive. What a time to be a wrestling fan. Thank you, CM Punk. Thank you, AEW. Thank you, everyone involved. What a great moment. Speaking of pro wrestling, Mattel have revealed their new Stone Cold Steve Austin figure. And if you're going to talk about wrestling icons, they don't get more iconic than good old Stone Cold. So this new figure actually looks really cool. I'll give you the details right now. So this is Mattel's WWE Ultimate Edition figure of Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Texas Rattlesnake has an upgrade from his previous Elite entry with additional articulation and a slew of accessories. This figure is apparently already out in certain locations and is available for pre-order in others. I don't collect WWE figures because WWE is a garbage company run by terrible people, but I did grow up obsessed with WWE, so I've got to admit, that could even warm the icy cockles of my heart enough to buy the figure, or cool the fiery heat of my heart. Either way, my heart will become an adequate temperature with which to buy an action figure. And it's an action figure of Stone Cold, so can I get a hell yeah? Oh, hell yeah! If anyone ever didn't know, that's him drinking a beer with Brian Pillman. I think that's kind of lovely. Big softy. For any fans of action movies of the 80s, it was acceptable in the 80s. It was acceptable to have John Rambo. And 3-0 are giving us a 1/6 scale figure of John Rambo from Rambo First Blood. What an iconic movie. I was saying in my live stream just the other day that a lot of old classic movies, they just don't hold up. Oh my goodness. Rambo First Blood holds up incredibly well. If you have not seen Rambo First Blood, if you're under 20 and you think, why do I want to watch some random old action movie from the 80s? Oh my goodness, watch Rambo First Blood. It's not what you would expect. It's brutal but heartfelt, and oh my goodness, it's wonderful. And it looks like 3-0 have really captured the Stallone features and likeness. Fantastic. Now, this is a 1/6 scale figure, which is Hot Toys kind of size. It's a big boy. So I'm more of a 1/12 kind of guy. So that doesn't really mash my potatoes. But at the same time, it does look like a lovely figure. And even if you don't buy the action figure, go watch Rambo First Blood, because it's a banger. Here, you got any more of those Games Workshop Space Marines? Yes, we do, but not from McFarlane Figures. Nah-uh-uh. This is now from Bandai, and I'm going to read out some of the spiel because I don't know enough about the Space Marines to do this off the top of my noggin. So here we go. Games Workshop has announced the next figure in their collaboration with Bandai. The new 7-inch scale figure is the Ultramarines Primaris Captain of the Gravis Armor from Warhammer 40,000. I think I got that out pretty flawlessly. The figure will stand roughly 8 inches tall and have about 53 points of articulation. And here is some further info on the figure and character. The new Ultramarines Primaris Captain in Gravis Armor from Bandai is available to order from next week. This fully articulated new action figure stands over 8 inches tall and comes with detachable backpack, cloak, and two different right hands. Made from plastic and die-cast metal, he's absolutely packed with intricate details. So there you go, for all of you Space Marine, Warhammer 40k type fans, that's another figure that's going to scale very nicely with your McFarlane Space Marine. So for any of you guys who are out there, big Warhammer fans, it's a good time to be alive. Alright, let's go back to the 80s movies again with Batman, the Tim Burton Batman, because Neca, they're kind of treating us. They're going to give us something that's just going to be a really cool display piece. The Batman grapple gun, bat launcher, line thingamajig. You know what I'm talking about, especially because I'm probably showing a picture of it right now. They're doing a full-size replica. I don't know what else to tell you. It looks like a lot of fun. So if you're a fan of the Burton movies, of which I know there are plenty, this would be a great little conversation piece. Put it in the middle of the coffee table. Hey, what's that? Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have left that out there, thus revealing my secret identity.
As Batman.
They might buy it. Prime 1 Studio have announced and shown some pictures of their 1/10th scale Jurassic Park blue Velociraptor. And are there any Jurassic World fans out there? No, I'm kidding. Of course there are. There are general Jurassic Park fans, of which incorporates the Jurassic World. You see what I mean? Because, yeah, those movies, hoo-ha! There are some good parts to them, but boy, there are some dubious bits. Really, Jurassic World was okay. It was popcorn nonsense, but the second one, what was the one after? With the volcano at the start and then like a ridiculous monster movie thing at the end. Oh, that was so ridiculous. Where the little girl lets out all the dinosaurs so they can run around and kill people, and she's like, they're just like me. And I'm like, bitch, you just murdered us all! It's a bonkers movie. But the action figure looks cool, so if you're into your dinosaurs, that could be a lot of fun. If you're one of those people who loves to torture themselves over and over again, then chances are you've played Bloodborne. I played it for about half an hour and was like, nope, don't need this kind of pain in my life. But some people are obsessed with it, and with obsession comes action figures. We are looking at the Good Smile Figma Bloodborne the Old Hunter's Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower. Whew, try saying that 5 times fast. Don't worry, I won't. But let's read the spiel. From the PlayStation 4 action RPG Bloodborne the Old Hunters comes a Figma of Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower. Maria resides in the Astral Clock Tower, looking after the disfigured patients that reside there and guarding the secret of the nightmare, the fishing hamlet where the Orphan of Kos can be found. She is seen sitting on a richly decorated chair with blood pooling from her neck and wrist onto the floor. She is seemingly dead, but upon inspecting her, Maria grabs the hunter's hand, then rises from her chair to fight them. Wow, I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty badass. Does it mean anything to me? No, to me that was just a lot of words, but they sounded cool, and the figure looks awesome, so if you're a Bloodborne fan, this one's for you. That's the Aliens theme. If you didn't recognize it, then what the hell is wrong with you? I just did it perfectly. It just gets the adrenaline going. I'm so pumped now. I want to pick up a Nerf gun that is made to look like the Aliens' smart pulse rifle and go out and kill some bugs. This thing looks so cool. To celebrate the 30th anniversary of Aliens, I guess, the thing that I'm talking about. Well done, Dave. Nerf have put together a pulse rifle Nerf gun, and it looks awesome. Let me read the spiel. Aliens 35th Anniversary Nerf Limited M41A Blaster Pulse Rifle. Celebrate the 35th, not 30th, anniversary of the iconic Aliens film with the Nerf Limited Aliens M41A Pulse Blaster. Capturing authentic details inspired by the equipment of the film's Colonial Marine Corps. Captures the look of the iconic M41A Pulse Blaster with power loader inspired design and dual blasting action. Features an electronic dart counter and movie accurate blasting sounds. Measurements over 2 feet long and comes fully assembled in premium packaging. Perfect for display. Select the fully motorized Flywheel Elite or the pump action Mega Dart Blasting. Requires 4 batteries, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. You get the idea. Looking at this, the design, the shape of the gun looks great. The fact that it's done in power loader colors is like a nice little nod to the film, but also thinking we don't want to make something that looks too much like an actual gun. And that's kind of a shame because let's face it, I would think it's safe to say we would all prefer something that actually looks like a pulse rifle. But I guess they want to steer away from that, and I understand that. And if anyone wants to customize it, that's perfect. I know that at so many conventions, Comic-Con, all these kinds of things, so many people go as Colonial Marines. So now you can just get a Nerf gun, paint it gunmetal grey, boom! You got yourself a pulse rifle. I was going to say Nerf gun, but you already had that. Paint it, then you got yourself a pulse rifle. Also, what's really cool is the digital counter. I think that's like the big selling point for me. The fact that you can see it ticking down, that's pure Aliens. That's really cool. That's the other Godzilla tune. I was doing the different Godzilla tune just the other day. Why was I doing that? My top 100 figures list. That's why. There are 2 iconic Godzilla tunes. That was the other one. And we now have another iconic Godzilla figure. The Godzilla Museum Godzilla the Animated Series from the 1970s design Godzilla. There is one Godzilla design that has never been officially released, ever until now. Mondo Toys and Collectibles proudly presents our first release of our Godzilla Museum line, Godzilla the Animated Series. This limited edition statue based off the iconic series from the 1970s, we took out all the stops to evoke the series' look and feel with its full cell-like line art and paint application, painstakingly realized by sculptor Tufan Cizir, designer and painter Hector R.C., and package designer Mike Bonanno. This Godzilla is made by people whose names are very difficult to sight read, but it does look very cool, so if you're a big Godzilla fan, especially from the 1970s, this one's for you. I still remember the theme tune. Ba-ba-da! It was like Godzilla and Godzuki. Godzuki was the scrappy do of Godzilla. We didn't need it. It was there for the kids, and we were all kids going, this thing is stupid. But Godzilla, he was awesome. Hiya Toys have released 2 new things or new pre-order previews this week. One of them is something to get very excited about based on a movie that I'm slightly obsessed with, and the other is this Predator. But hey, we're going to cover it anyway because Predators are cool, even if it's based on a garbage movie. Let's talk about it. Aliens vs. Predator Camouflage Scar 1/18th scale previews exclusive. From Hiya Toys, Scar, also known as the Alien Hunter, is a young blood Yautja. I'm terrible at pronouncing that. I know, I've heard it pronounced a million times. Yautja. I think that's right. Anyway, I digress. Is a young blood Yautja who traveled to Earth with his brothers to become blooded Yautja in the 2004 film Alien vs. Predator. Scar was the youngest and smartest of the 3 brothers and was impregnated by a facehugger. Well, he's not that smart, is he? And was host to the Predalien. This 4.8-inch previews exclusive Scar figure captures the creature's iconic look in his active camouflage at 1/18th scale. With a fully posable body, fans can recreate their favorite scene with the included accessories in shops May 25th, 2022. Boy, you know what? If you want to remember the film, then yeah, buy the action figures. Don't watch that film. And for the love of goodness, please, I'm begging you, do not watch Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. I've never known a film that hates the people who watch it so badly, but that really does. Alright guys, this is the other half of the Hiya Toys figure announcement, and this is the big one, but it's great, but it's not. It's Robo-Kane. It's RoboCop 2. It's everything that RoboCop fans have wanted in a size that's unsatisfactory for anyone, I feel. It's Robo-Kane, but he's coming in at 3.75 inches. I don't know, is that 1/18th scale? Either way, it's like, if we collect 1/12th scale and that's 1/18th scale, that's 6 ones percents, fractions of disappointment. I've wanted a decent Kane figure since, I don't know, 1990. But the whole thing, one of the reasons why we haven't got one is because the designer, Phil Tippett, has said in interviews that he made the design specifically impossible for people to recreate in action figure form. He didn't want knockoffs or people just bashing together something and putting it out in market stores. He was like, no, I'm going to design this in a way that only a master craftsman such as myself could make it. Well, congratulations, Phil. You succeeded. But fortunately, technology has finally caught up with us where some companies can actually put together a decent looking Robo-Cane. And this looks really decent. So annoying that he's teeny. He's a little small. He's a small little Robo-Cane. You know how much they're asking for it? $50. Yeah, it's a shame. It looks great and I want to support it because I'm like, if this sells well, then maybe we'll get a 1/12 scale. And then maybe we'll get a new 1/12 Robocop, which we still don't have. My goodness, Robocop is so neglected in the action figure line. You know, it's terrible. Come on, Neca. Give us some more Robocops. Give us Clarence Boddicker. But most importantly, give us Robo-Cane in 1/12. But I'm going off on a tangent here. This figure from Hire, it looks really good. I'm tempted to get it, but it's just a very big price tag for a figure that is small. You know, it's a real shame, but I've always loved the design. It looks like a weird mashup of like a beetle and a samurai and a robot. I mean, that's really cool. Does it justify $50 for something this big? I don't know. Maybe in 2022, we'll find out. McFarlane have released another DC Multiverse Gold Label Walmart exclusive KFC sponsored barbecue honey mustard pre-show figure. These titles get ridiculous and harder to say, but it's a new McFarlane Batman variant thingamajig. Let me read you the gist of it. McFarlane Toys have revealed another DC Multiverse Gold Label Walmart exclusive Superman Unchained armor from way back at the line's launch, but with new deco representing his energized form. The figure is non-metallic with a blue base and features hints of red and yellow. He's retailing for $19.87 and is due in October 2021. And for some additional scar about the actual backstory of the figure, when the weaponized alien called Wraith goes on a destructive rampage in the Batcave and both Batman and Wonder Woman are unable to stop him, Superman dons an armor that features a shield and battle axe to confront the electromagnetic adversary. Their battle continues to the center of the Earth, where Superman is finally able to defeat him, leaving him floating in the lava at the Earth's core. Sounds pretty badass, and you can commemorate that epic encounter with this kind of weird-looking figure. Now going back to classic sort of action figures is McFarlane's DC line. We got two announcements. We have got Lobo and Superboy Prime, both of which are looking pretty cool. So Lobo includes a hook and chain accessory, Superboy has a flight stand, so it's kind of the typical sort of McFarlane DC sort of accessories you'd come to expect. These guys should be on store shelves around about October, November, retailing for your fairly typical $20 kind of price tag, and yeah, it looks like more of the same from McFarlane DC, and if you're enjoying this line, then there's a lot more to enjoy. Speaking of DC Multiverse, we have the DC Multiverse Gold Label Azrael. Boy, they are making a lot of use out of that Azrael figure and name and character, but hey, they're good-looking action figures, so I can't be mad about it. McFarlane Toys have dropped another exclusive gold label variant, Batman the White Knight Azrael. The new deco sees him in a silvery blue suit with metallic armor hints and a red bat symbol. The figure is exclusive to Walmart with a price of $19.87. He's due to ship at the end of October 2021. And just to give you a little bit of background scar on the character, war veteran, Knight of the Order, Saint Dumas, and now the Joker's key recruit in the crusade against Batman, Azrael is the Dark Knight's most powerful new threat and the one living link to a devastating secret about the Wayne family's legacy in Gotham City. In an effort to overthrow Batman, Azrael dons the armored batsuit of his own and threatens to take control of the city. Again, I don't know much about DC, but I know what looks nice, and this figure looks very pretty. Bright, shiny armor, that's very cool. So if you like your DC, you might well like this. As kind of a celebration for hitting their concluding tier amount. What am I trying to say? Their backing requirements. Oh, words are hard. Mattel have released preview images of Diesel and Doink, which will be coming with their WWE Monday Night Raw set ring. Gosh, vocalizing stuff is failing me right now, but you get what I'm saying, especially because I'm showing you pictures as well. Diesel looks great. Doink looks great. If you're a WWE person, this must be very happy and encouraging. You've got your ring, that's guaranteed, and you got 2, maybe even 3 action figures if you got your orders in on time to go with it. Honestly, as a crowdsourced Kickstarter, this looks like a really good setup. Hey, who out there was a fan of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Revelation show on Netflix? Boo! No, don't worry, I'm only kidding. I actually really enjoyed it. A lot of people didn't, and a few people, nay, pretty much most people, were kind of in the middle. It was a fun and distracting 20 minutes each episode, you know, that's what it was. But Netflix are more than happy to milk that teat dry with another Masters of the Universe show, which looks to be aimed more at kids. Bonkers, I know, right? A He-Man show aimed at children? Whatever next? It's a she? It's a CGI. I've got old Sean Connery there. It's a CGI show based on He-Man and his amazing adventures. I was trying to put my hand on on an armrest that wasn't there. Where did you go? Yeah, these don't look like my particular field of interest. A kid show, CGI. But, you know, I can quite happily accept the fact that not all animated shows are made for adults. Actually, some are made for kids as well. Bonkers, I know. So these look like nice, pretty, bright, bold, colourful action figures, and I have no doubt there's going to be a market for them. Coral. Knock, knock, Coral. Who's there, Dad? It's me, Coral, from 3-0. I've been made into an action figure, Coral. That was my Rick Jones, or Rick Grimes impression. Not Rick Jones. I don't know what Rick Jones sounds like since we haven't got him in the movies yet. But yes, 3-0 are doing a Rick Grimes figure from The Walking Dead. I was trying to recreate that meme type joke sort of thing, but I didn't have a joke. But do you get the idea? Nah, I think that probably fell flat. Either way, hopefully you haven't switched off by now. It's a good looking figure. Looks a bit Mezco-ish in that, you know, it's lots of cloth clothes and all that kind of thing. He's got his classic Rick Grimes, Jesus, this is what I'm doing now type look on his face. It looks like a good action figure. If you're a Walking Dead fan, if there are still some Walking Dead fans left, if you haven't just been chased off by all the misery and carnage, then you might get yourself a nice action figure. Also joining Rick Grimes in the 3-0-1/6 scale Walking Dead figures is Carol Pelletier? I'm terrible with reading letters and putting them into words. But Carol from The Walking Dead. Should have just left it at Carol. But yeah, she looks great. She'll go right next to Rick Jones. I watched The Walking Dead for like the first 5 seasons or so, and she had a great character arc, starting as this old, you know, terrified little shrinking violet of a lady being like, oh, shall I sit over here? Oh, shall I sit over here? Oh, I'm a little mouse, to being like super badass grandma with a Kalashnikov. So she's a cool character and she'll look great next to Rick Grimes. Neca love their horror movie characters, and they love Michael Myers and Halloween. Don't we all? What a great franchise Halloween is. There's a few good movies in there, a few terrible movies, and a couple of middle-of-the-road ones, but when it's good, it's great. And Halloween 2 is one that they keep going to the well quite often for, but we get good figures from it. In this case, we got a Michael and Dr. Loomis 2-pack. It's great to have Dr. Loomis represented. This isn't the first time we've had a Loomis figure, but seeing them both together, it looks great. You're going to be able to put the iconic duo on your shelves in December of this year, which is kind of a shame that they missed the Halloween release date. But I mean, really, you know, who cares? Besides going, oh, it's Halloween. That's not going to really change anything. So instead you can get Halloween at Christmas, and that's like the Blink-182 song, and that's actually very poignant for me. I do love that song. Keeping December wonderfully horrific, Neca will allow you to also pick up The Mummy, and this looks really cool. Continuing their Universal Monsters line, the detail on this figure looks terrific. Full on, chef's kiss, really great details. So if you are enjoying collecting your classic Universal Monsters, this is going to be an absolutely essential edition, and he's gonna look the Mutt's nuts, quite frankly. I've looked at the preview pictures. He looks awesome. I'm not a classic Universal Monsters collector just because I'm running out of space on the shelves, as you can clearly see, but for anyone who wants him, you're gonna be glad you got him. Going back over to Hasbro now, we have a Galactus Watch. Continuing the Galactus Watch, day number 78. We just have a small update, which is nothing really particularly exciting, but the Hasbro Pulse team have been doing the rounds of all the various YouTube toy reviewers, Shardamus Prime, Dan Who, anyone who's anyone. If you're a big name in the toy reviewing YouTube industry, you're getting a view with Hasbro Pulse team. And if you're some schmuck in a bedroom, you ain't getting diddly. Don't know why I added that. But anyway, the Pulse team said nothing of particular interest, but one person or several people have mentioned they did point out that if the Frankie Ray Nova does not get the funding tier, then you ain't getting her anytime this year or next year. And some people have said, oh, well, that's like a little bit of a threat, isn't it? Nah, it's not a threat. It's the way that these tiers work. It would be silly if they said, like, you'll only get this with a tier, and then they bring it out like a month later. So I'm fine with that. That's kind of one of those news stories where the news is there's no news, and that's why I'm not interested in doing interviews, because it's going to be like, oh, what exciting things can you tell me? Nothing? Okay, what can you tell me? The same stuff we already know. All right, thanks for coming. Sticking with Marvel, we have had the Eternals final movie trailer, and this has actually got the juices flowing a little bit. I know nothing about Eternals. I've never read any of the comics. I've hardly ever seen any artwork from Eternals, so I know nothing about the movie, the concept, or what to expect, and that has me excited. A lot of people seem to be a little bit apathetic about Eternals, but I love the fact that I don't know anything about it. I was so bored watching Spider-Man Far From Home, because I knew everything that was going to happen. They could have switched the movie off after 5 minutes and given me a pen and a pad, and I would have just written out the rest of the movie for you. Like, look, was it that? Yeah, congratulations. What do you win? 90 minutes of your life back. So the fact that I know nothing about Eternals means I'm genuinely excited. And clearly, the makers of this are not stupid. They know for a fact the very first thing anyone was asking was, well, where were the Eternals during the Thanos battle? Why weren't they here when New York was getting invaded? Why are they only showing up now? Well, they answer that in the trailer. Don't worry, I'm not going to give anything away, because I know a lot of people like to actually avoid trailers entirely, because I'll agree that trailers are awful and reveal way too much. So I won't say anything besides the fact that it looks good. I'm excited for Eternals. It looks very, very pretty, with very, very pretty people. And it looks a little bit quippy, but not as quippy as the first trailer. The first trailer looked like it was a real sort of Joss Whedon Avengers, oh god, quip, 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 quip. No, this actually looks more dramatic, a little more Game of Thronesy. It looks like fun. It has some CGI designs in there that just look like very generic, like, oh, that was CGI creature number X37 from the vaults. But besides that, I'm good to go with it. Looking forward to Eternals. And the final Marvel Legends little section for this is that there will be another Hasbro Pulse live stream on Thursday, August the 28th. And this is one that we'll probably cover, again, just spitballing here, but we'll finally get the official reveal of the Eternals wave, which feels so kind of moribund now. We saw that wave like, what, a year ago? It was on shelves. It was pulled back off of shelves, but they've been sitting on it for the longest time. So they will finally reveal the Eternals wave, and we'll be like, yeah, we know. Yeah, no. So it's just, they look fine. I'm not an MCU guy, and the designs don't look that interesting. But I think that once people see the movie and they have a connection to the characters, then they will actually start to really resonate. Right now, they're just a bunch of pretty people in flashy costumes that don't mean anything. Once the movie comes out, I'm not going to edit that. Once the movie comes out, I think that these figures will gain popularity. It's kind of disappointing that the Build-A-Figure is just a regular-sized guy, Gilgamesh. So it's like, really? You know, normally you just get you want to get a big character for a Build-A-Figure, and you do have a big character, but that's a separate deluxe figure of Crow, is it? Is that his name? Either way, he looks quite generic as like a serpenty type big bad guy sort of figure as well, but still, he looks kind of pretty. So those figures are probably going to be announced on the live stream, along with, I'm guessing, perhaps the official Spider-Man wave. We've got the MCU components, but as I said in a previous video, hopefully we will get the reveal of Shriek, Morlun, and Spider-Slayer. That's what I was trying to think of. If that is the BAF. It's all hearsay and conjecture at the moment. But if we just get those revealed, then I'll be quite happy with that. A big piece of news that came out this week is that Super 7 are going to be making a wave or line or group or whatever of Simpsons action figures. They released a teaser the other day with a picture of an inanimate carbon rod. And so people who were quite eagle-eyed and astute were like, that's clearly an inanimate carbon rod. They're making Simpsons figures, and boy howdy are they. They look excellent. I mean, we've seen the previews, the mock-ups, but they look like I would imagine the figures will look, and that means the figures will look good. What I don't know is the price, and I imagine they will be expensive. I'm not going to touch these with a 50-foot pole, because again, that is a gigantic rabbit hole. And the fact that the original line is 2 robot Itchy and Scratchies, Moe, Homer, and Poochie means that they are going to be taking from all corners of classic Simpsons. I'm guessing it's going to be seasons 1 to 8 because those are the ones that have any kind of nostalgic resonance. Anything after that is garbage trash that should be just buried in an oil drum in the bottom of the ocean. But season 1 to 8 is gold, so I'm sure they're going to mine that for all they can do. And each figure looks like it has a whole slew of accessories, different heads, different items. Moe comes with a panda in a box. They're really pushing the boat out, which means the price might be jacked up pretty high as well. So I'm not going to touch them, but I will probably look at them and go, boy howdy, those do look pretty. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's quite a niche sort of thing. Power Rangers wasn't huge for that long of a time, but for people who were kids who grew up with it, there is a market there for them. And Hasbro released previews of the blue Ninja Ranger and the black Ninja Ranger. It doesn't really mean much to me, although I know that Billy is the Blue Ranger, and the head sculpt looks kind of decent. A lot of reuse going on there, but reuse is Hasbro's calling card, really. But hey, you got to make money how best you can do. So Power Rangers don't mean too much to me, so I'm not going to dwell on them too much, but they look nice. Apparently there was a little bit of a hubbub about the price increase. They are very expensive compared to what they were before. I think they've gone up like by about $10, or am I wrong? I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I think they are more costly than people were expecting. I think I can get away with saying that. But still, if you're a Power Rangers fan, that should pique your interest. Storm Collectibles are going back to Golden Axe again, even though we still only have Axel Stone from Streets of Rage, and we're desperately crying out from the rooftops for more Streets of Rage figures. They're still going back to Golden Axe again. Who keeps asking for Golden Axe figures? Well, whoever it is, they should be very happy because they're getting a dead frame 2-pack of 2 admittedly quite badass looking skeleton warriors that have sort of elongated crocodile or horse type skull heads. They look pretty cool. They're retailing for about $65 for the 2-pack, and I think if anyone does have a sort of not even necessarily Golden Axe, but like a medieval swords and sorcery type setup, they're going to fit right in. Jazzwares have announced more Fortnite figures, and I've got to admit, Fortnite figures kind of piqued my interest because I've never played Fortnite in my life. I'm nearly 40 years old. That online gaming passed me by. I'm sure there are a whole bunch of 40-plus-year-olds watching this now going, speak for yourself, mate. I slay on Fortnite. Well, more power to you. But the Fortnite figures actually really do have my interest because a lot of them look... I'm still reaching for the handrest that's not there. There we go. A lot of them look really pretty. Like the black robotic cat lady looking thing. That looks really cool. There are some really, really cool designs there. So I'm going to read off the 3 characters because I can't remember them. It's Brutus, Cyclone, and Seeker. And these 3, they look in the typical sort of exaggerated art sort of design of Fortnite, the thing that I'm talking about. And I think it was the Fwoosh who said, like, the good thing about these characters is you can put them into other displays and they will work as goons or guards or brutes or hitmen or anything else because they just have cool designs. Which is why, honestly, I know I shouldn't, but I'm really tempted to pick up a couple of the cooler ones just because they look great. And honestly, all of my pre-orders have been delayed. I haven't got any new toys recently and I'm getting a little spendy. And wrapping things up from the Fwoosh newscast, which I took a lot of information from and then just regurgitate on my channel, top-notch toilet bots. WTF? Top-notch toilet bots. I don't think I'll be getting these, but you know what? Mechanically, artistically, these look like really clever action figures. I like the idea that these might come from some sort of cyberpunk, sort of dystopian kind of future where for whatever stupid, ridiculous reason, toilets have proper AI and are like androids that will walk up to you and plonk themselves down and be like, I'm ready. Ugh, that's a weird thought. But still, that looks so bizarre. I can see why some folks are excited for it. And like I said, the actual mechanics of how they're put together, like they look like beautiful action figures. The way they're built, made, articulated, they're kind of cool. Will I be adding them to my Marvel Legends shelf? Probably not. SH Figure Arts have announced the Super Saiyan Kefla from Dragon Ball Z. I know nothing about Dragon Ball Z. I know that being over 9,000 is a good thing. That's literally it, though. Dragon Ball Z was not a part of British culture growing up in the 90s, so I won't even embarrass myself by pretending to know who is who or what is what. But either way, Dragon Ball Z fans, I'm sure would be interested to know about Super Saiyan Kefla? Kefla? Kefla. Yeah, it's Kefla. Oh, Neca, you continue to spoil us with Gremlins and Gremlins 2. Gremlins 2, the new batch. One of the best sequels I honestly think ever made to a film. If you haven't seen Gremlins 2, do yourself a favor. Go out and watch it knowing that it is a parody of the first movie. How many times has that ever actually been done? Where a movie has had a sequel and the sequel isn't like a normal sequel. It is a full-on parody of the first movie. That's really clever. That was actually going to be what Jaws 3 was going to be. Jaws 3 was originally going to be called Jaws 3 People Zero. And I thought that was kind of fun. It was going to be like a National Lampoon spoof kind of thing, but I'm getting distracted. So Neca are making a couple of new additions to their Gremlins line. We have the Brain Gremlin. And if you didn't know that Gremlins 2 was a parody, the Brain Gremlin kind of spells it out, where he drinks this brain serum and then he's like, and then suddenly these two glasses appear on his face and he's like, I wanna talk a little about what's going on here in this room. You see these things over here, and it's great. It's so funny and so silly. The Brain Gremlin looks terrific. I'm sorry, I went full Brain Gremlin there for a second. So he looks like a lot of fun. And then we also get a 2-pack of the Demolition Gremlins. And again, they just look like they're just taken straight from the films. The only problem I have with them, or the only reason I don't want to buy them, is because they're not 1/12 scale. And that's like a good and a bad thing. Because if they were 1/12 scale, they would be very, very small and you wouldn't be able to really get all that detail in there. But because they're big enough to accommodate all the detail, they don't really fit with any other 1/12 characters. So like, it's a bit of a shame. They would kind of go with 1/6 scale Hot Toys type characters, but I don't really have enough of those to make a display. So Gremlins I won't be collecting, but I will say they look awesome. And guys, that does it for this week's good news. Wow, I am exhausted. That was a lot of figures to get through, and I was going a mile a minute. I need to just slow down. I don't know why I'm in such a rush, but this video has been over half an hour, and you've got places to go, things to do, and people to see. So I appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed me ranting and raving. Guys, if you did, then please join the 6-1 Clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And if you want to go one step beyond, you can join the... No, you've already joined the 6-1 Clicks. You can join the Patreon. I've got to come up with a name for the patrons, like get more of a spiel going. But either way, go join the Patreon at patreon.com/display model behavior, just like all these good brothers did, and they can all enjoy the random extra videos that I put up there, including the Legends Legacy review, in which I recently did a review and backstory history on Spider-Man Noir. I'm going to be putting up a new Legends Legacy review about once every week or so, maybe every 10 days. Just don't try and pin me down, alright? I'm a busy guy. I got a lot of things to do. That's a lie. I really have nothing going on. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Chill. Yeah.
Also, what's really cool is You want to talk about your Psalms? You want to talk about your John 3:16? Austin 3:16 says, I just whipped your ass. Of course, 1/6 scale is your Hot Toys type scale, so twice the size of your Marvel Legend 1/12 type scale. 6th being half of 12. Maths is easy, it turns out. Look who's smart guy over here. This whole thing is terrible. This is awful. I'm redoing this.
I forgot I'm the